But this year I'd like to predict four things. I'd like to predict a gold price of $1,900 an ounce. Hello everybody, today's August 22nd, 2011. Well, gold finally broke 1900 today. That was my prediction on January 11th. So I'm pretty happy. I met my prediction, and kind of surprised it happened so soon. The beginning of 2010 I predicted $1,700 gold, and I overshot by a couple $100. So I guess I undershot this year. Who knows where it's going to end up by the end of the year. I want to talk a little bit about gold. You know, we're going to be hearing about the bubbles again, and the silver and gold bubble, just like we have all the way since $500 an ounce. So you're really going to be hearing the bubble talk now, and the people rushing out, selling their jewelry and their family heirlooms, and not thinking, this could be a top, this could be the all-time high price. They're going to sell grandma's silverware, sterling silver. Well, I kind of feel sorry for those people, because they're probably going to take that and maybe pay off some credit card that was money created out of thin air to begin with, which is not bad, to pay off. You got to get out of debt, so you're not paying the interest on it. But just to think about where it might go. Get some clothes, they may last 5 years, whatever, and get thrown out. Go on a vacation, just blast it. I mean, where the money's going to go, it'll just get used up. It could have sat there in grandma's silverware and maintained its value and preserved some wealth for that person. As the US dollar is in its death throes, I've been talking for 2 years about collapsing US dollar. I've been reading about it for probably 6 years. It's something that's not going to happen overnight. Ultimately, it could just all, come down real fast, but it's slowly being played out. And now with interest rates being held down near zero, we actually got, real negative interest rate. You can't even get on your money in the bank. You can't even beat inflation. I mean, savers are really losers. That's what Robert Kiyosaki always says. Savers are losers. And that's what they're being made to be now. I mean, you can't really save paper money because you're losing. You're losing your purchasing power, and you're not preserving any wealth. So anyhow, I wanted to talk about a few questions in regards to gold. Maybe someone who doesn't follow it much comes across this video. Should I buy now? Well, I'm going to give you my opinion on that. My opinion is, if you don't own any, sure, buy a coin. We're due for a correction. Gold's ran up from, I think, 1480 in July, 1500. It's had a nice 30% run. It's due for a correction. It could actually correct back down to like 1500 and still be on its long-term uptrend. It's been on for 10 years. So we're due for a correction. I don't like to make short-term predictions. I'll go ahead and say that I see us getting up near 2000 and then probably correcting back to 1750. I have no idea what's going to happen in the short run, so I'm just throwing that out there. I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. But so anyway, personally, I'd probably wait to buy some. But anyhow, should I sell now? Next question. No. That's my best answer. No. I mean, long term, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're just a short-term player in the market, and yeah, if you're up 50%, never any problem with taking some profits off the table. There's nothing wrong with taking a profit, ever. But it depends on, what you're trying to do. I have no interest in selling, even when silver gets to $100. I have no interest in selling all the silver I bought in the teens. That's, you know, I'm holding on to silver until I can buy a house with about 800 ounces of silver. Back to the situation that we had around, back to the situation we had around 1980 when you could buy a house. The house was, you know, an average house, $40,000 house, you buy with like 800 ounces of silver. I think it might actually overshoot and we could get a house for 500 ounces of silver. That's my ultimate end game on this whole precious metals thing. You know, there's a time, there's a season for everything. There's a time to own precious metals. There's a time to be in stocks and bonds. I mean, if you Google gold is a terrible investment, you'll come up with the top result will be gold is a terrible investment according to Dave Ramsey. Now, if you haven't heard, you can go to YouTube and type in Dave Ramsey space gold. There's a caller that called in after reading Peter Schiff's book, and he totally slams Peter Schiff and his father. He says, oh, his father's a kook, the son must be a kook. I mean, he totally just slams him. He says how horrible gold has been as an investment, and you know, it's just a currency. Anything could be a currency. Dirt, I mean, whatever, dude. I guess he doesn't understand the whole scarcity thing and what makes things valuable. It's dirt. I don't know, is that a store of value? I guess for some people. Anyhow, it's totally illogical. You have to watch that. But anyhow, the #1 hit, if you type that in, gold is a terrible investment, it's a guy's blog, and you go into the blog and he shows how in the 1970s $10,000 investment in gold beat stocks, and then in the 80s and 90s it didn't, and then in 2000 2010 it did. You know, these things go through cycles, and we had really high interest rates in the 80s. You know, you weren't a saver wasn't a loser. You were actually being rewarded for saving paper. So that's not the case anymore. We have interest rates that are near zero. We're just told by the chairman of the Federal Reserve that they're going to be held near zero. The long-term trend for precious metals is up. And you know, in regards to the gold bubble, I just want to say that I like to use 1980 because that was the last time gold was, you know, was at a high price, and we haven't even beat silver's $50 price, which adjusted for inflation is actually $130, $140. So we haven't even, you know, we're not even close. And on top of that, there's less silver available for investment than gold. I mean, that could propel silver past the gold price. I mean, that's unbelievable, I know, to a lot of people. Most people are not even aware of that. Most people just see that gold should be worth a lot more than silver. But anyway, with the same amount of money going into the gold and silver markets, according to Eric Sprott and James Turk and the U.S. Treasury, something's going to give at some point. I think the straw that breaks the camel's back will be when the COMEX warehouse can't make delivery on a request for physical silver. So anyway, I'm getting a little off topic. So roughly 10 times as much currency is around now than was it around in 1980. So you can just multiply all the prices we had in 1980. $850 gold would be $8,500 gold as a comparison to where we were then. And silver at $50, $500 silver now. Another way of looking at this is back in 1980, the gold reached 7.6 times the S&P 500. Well, the S&P 500 is around 1120, so 7.6 times that now would be 8,500. Just like the 8,500 for 10 times the, you know, the amount of money sloshing around. So we have many years left in this bull run, in my opinion, and all the people that I follow. And the people that I follow are people that have been right. I don't follow people that have been wrong, like Mr. Ramsey. So that's about it for now. Looking for silver to make a real big pop here soon. Maybe shoot past 50 and hit an all-time record high. I'll do a video definitely on that. I'm predicting $55 silver this year that I predicted January 11th, and I believe I'll meet that prediction.